have LeBron James on my second team. Am I nuts?
Yeah.
I have him on my third.
You have him on your third team. LeBron was fucking awesome this year when he played. He was awesome. He was awesome. He carried the Lakers. He was on pace to win MVP. This MVP discussion was not going to be a fucking huge, wide open thing until LeBron hurt his leg.
Wait. You know what? You're not crazy. Time out, because I'm realizing now that my shits got switched up. I agree with you. I'm with your shit because I needed someone for my small forward, and I'm definitely picking LeBron because my center is Embiid.
Yeah, minus two.
But I'm like, Embiid played just as many games as LeBron, so I can't really. That doesn't justify anything. So I'm cool with that. My bad. Yeah. You're not crazy.
He was great this year. He had the three where he turned around, he popped the whole crowd. That was sick. He's done like.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you. It's a little bit. This doesn't have to do with this, but I just want to know your opinion on it because I don't think we're going to be talking about this until a little later, anyways.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his comment saying that he never feels like he's going to be 100% again in his career?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me about that.
Huh?
I'm glad you asked me about that because I wanted to talk to you about it. What percentage of it do you think is real, and what percentage of it do you think it's the LeBron media narrative?
Yeah, I was immediately the first thing I thought. I was like, this nigga is acting like a bitch. Like, I'm like, why? Don't do this with teams that I follow. Like, I'm not Cleveland. We're not Cleveland. This is not, and especially with the Laker media is gonna take that shit and run with it.
For sure.
But you want to know what he really is gonna do when it's time? Shit, damn. I almost burned myself.
Light him up. Yeah. Light him on fire.
Apparently, I can't use a match. Whatever. Y'all know what
it's cool. You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to have fire just be around your face. This is going to happen. I can make that happen. Fire.
But yeah, that's what he better do because that was kind of what you were pushing a little bit early in the season. Like, yo, what if he doesn't come back to normal and stuff? And I'm like, off of an ankle injury? I'm like, come on. Like, that would be the dumbest shit ever. And then
he's so old. It's just the fact that this is the same thing that scared me with Kobe when he had the Achilles. I thought if anybody could come back from that injury, it was Kobe, and here's why. He's the ultimate practice rat. He's the guy who lives in the practice gym. LeBron is notorious for missing practices, like relaxing during the regular season and shit like that. Like, I know he's a superstar athlete and he's LeBron and he's the best player we have in our league, but
he definitely does a lot of off-season work and shit like that.
He does that, but like in Cleveland, famously, his teams did not practice during the regular season. Mm-hmm. Like, lots of situations like that. However, the older you get, if you stop your repetition and what you're doing every day because you have to be off your feet with a leg injury, the older you are, the worse that affects you. Yeah. That's why I came to that conclusion that maybe
and I understand that for sure, but my thing when it comes to that is the when it comes to him being old, the 6 weeks, like him taking 6 weeks to come back from that injury, that's when I'm like, okay, that's because he's old. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah. But to not be able to play like yourself after that injury, because that's not an injury that breaks you down like that. Like you know what I mean? Like a Achilles injury is actually like an injury that'll fuck your whole performance up afterwards.
Right, I agree.
I mean, like it's been proven. Like ankle injuries, especially like he had a high ankle injury, which is
he hasn't had a lot of these. He hasn't had any of these.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's bullshit. And honestly, what I really think they're gonna do is if Portland loses, Portland beats them. I think they have a game coming up. If Portland beats them, I feel like they're gonna rest LeBron until it's time for the play-in tournament.
Yeah,
gonna smoke them, and then they're gonna start going on their run.
They're already resting LeBron. They already had LeBron not play these last few games this year, or this past week, because they're claiming it's not medical, but that he's it's just like getting him ready for the postseason or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he decides to say that the play-in tournament is the stupidest idea of all time. Shut the fuck up, LeBron. If you were healthy, you wouldn't have said that.
Well, he literally didn't say that when asked about it earlier in the season.
Mad stupid. Those quotes will be on your screen.
Yeah.
But I do think he was awesome on the court this year before he got hurt, and he deserves to be at least on the All NBA teams. I have him second. If somebody had him third, like Lindsay does, that's okay too.
Yeah,
but
I'm not mad at that.
He's got to be on there. He was sick this year. I can't stress that enough. And he was so angry about it.
Yeah,
which I love.
Who did you have as your forwards, Lindsay?
Yeah, good question.
Sabonis and Kawhi.
Sabonis as your forward. Is he a forward?
Is he a guard? Shit, no.
He's a center.
He's a power forward, isn't he?
If I think he's a center. I think he's a center.
Please tell me he's a forward.
I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure he's a center. He could be a power forward. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think he's a center. Power forward. Okay, you're right. So bonus counts. So I didn't know where to put him.
So I had I guess LeBron.
Right.
I added him, and Jayson Tatum.
Oh.
Jayson Tatum averaging 26, 5, and 7. Oh, sorry, so 26 and a half, 7 and 5, 4. Like clear superstar shit.
Yeah.
And he's had some crazy. He had a 60-point game this year.
Dude, he had a 60-point game and a 30-point comeback against. I think it was the Spurs. That wasn't that.
That was on some. That was literally Kobe-esque shit. Right?
Yeah.
Like, like he's got me excited mad times. He's like turnaround fadeaways and shit have been on point this year, like crazy. Like he does his go-to. Yeah, and it's that might be mainly because of my Kobe love and seeing him like. He just reminds me of Kobe so much.
Yeah.
So that's my bias there.
Yeah.
Like that, like, oh, man, love that shit.
This is a weird thing. This guy is making you a Celtic fan, which is weird. Is that weird for you?
The whole thing is I don't really root for the Celtics. Like, I just like to see him do well. And I wouldn't mind them going far, but I'm never like wanting them to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more so I want him to do well. And he should be a Laker instead.
He was this close. But, what do you call it? I think the thing with Tatum and the reason why people are going to... Because I don't have him on any... I have him on my third team. He's my third team.
I have him on my third, yeah.
But, she gets me tight. You want to know why? Because we picked Lonzo fucking Ball over Jayson Tatum.
No, wasn't Tatum the first overall pick? No, he was the third. He was the third. They traded down, right?
No, he was seventh that draft for sure.
Seventh? No, he wasn't.
Boston picked him up at seventh. I'm pretty sure.
No, that's Marcus Smart. They picked up at 7th. Tatum was a top 3 pick. I'm 1,000% sure of that. I just gotta find it.
I'm like almost 100% sure of this now. I've been icy since many high seas. I don't.
First round, 3rd pick overall. Yeah, 2017 draft. They traded with Philly. Right? Philly took Markelle Fultz. They traded with Philly. Then you guys took Lonzo. Right? And then...
Yeah, we stupid. Nana. God.
That is exactly how it went. Yep. You guys took Lonzo.
Yeah.
And then this. What, is your cat fighting you?
Oh, my God. Sorry.
Your cat's like, yeah, you should have taken Tatum. Stupid.
Fucking dumb. Yeah, I was mad. I'm mad as hell now. No. And Kobe would have been mentor even more. Like, he would have had more Kobe...
Would have fallen in love with him. Would have fallen in love with Kobe even further.
Yeah.
But we call it. Celtics had that skid, right? They started out in the top 3. They were up here for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they had that skid, and I threw their flags down on the ground. And now they're about 500. I think he'll make the All NBA teams. What did he actually finish with this season?
This season?
Yeah. What does he have? What are his exact?
26 and a half, 7 and 4.
Yeah, that's really good. With a steal a game.
Yeah.
Shooting 45, 40, and 87 from the line. It's pretty good.
Told I'd have him over LeBron if I had to rank him. Yeah. Only because he played 20 more games.
Yeah, that's my
thing. Like I don't know. It's obviously LeBron. Like
that's where LeBron getting hurt and then coming back and playing not so good is going to hurt him.
Yeah.
But I just felt weird having LeBron on anything higher or anything lower than second because of just how well he had played when he was playing.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong. Tatum's had an awesome finish to this year.
Yeah.
An awesome finish. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad about that selection.
Who's your second guard?
Second guard or second forward?
So we already had LeBron.
Yeah.
Oh, I had Tatum. Who did you? Lindsay had Sabonis.
And then, so I have Kawhi Leonard. This is what I was talking about to start. This is what I was talking about to start the show. I have Kawhi Leonard because he's putting up the superstar standard.
That's crazy to me because that was like my argument between Kawhi and. Are you picking him because he's Kawhi Leonard, or because, like, to me, Jayson Tatum's having a better year than he is?
I'm picking him
offensively and defensively.
They won more games, right?
Yeah,
they won more games. They're in that top three in this difficult Western Conference. That's like, who would have ever thought that Utah and Phoenix would be in the top two? That's crazy.
I feel like the East is actually tougher this year than the West.
That's totally an argument, but at the end of the day, they have more wins. The Clippers didn't really have any kind of skid this year. Kawhi has played enough games, especially in comparison to everybody else, and he's the most consistent 25, 5, and 5 every single game. Like,
but 26, 7, and 4 is like, and I personally think Jayson Tatum has been better than Kawhi offensively and defensively this year.
See, I don't know if Tatum's been as consistent this year. Like, he's been fairly inconsistent in comparison. Like, he's had bigger games than Kawhi for sure.
Yeah,
he's definitely had bigger games. But
if you click on the, I'm curious to see that now. So no, if you go up.
Oh, where am I going?
Yeah, just right in the middle. He's had 28, 20 to 29 point games.
Yeah,
this is just offensively, obviously.
Right.
15, and then can we pull up Kawhi? Just do a little comparison there.
Drum roll.
And defensively is obviously that. A lot of it is also, and plus Tatum played more games than Kawhi too, like probably like by 10.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
That's going to matter so much more than it usually does.
My reason for having Kawhi in my third.
Yeah.
All NBA third team is, I literally wrote, just being Kawhi Leonard makes him all NBA. Because it's true. Like, and that's pretty much what you're saying is like, he's putting up his superstar numbers. You can't really not, which is okay. But I just feel like Jayson Tatum did a little bit more, and obviously Jayson Tatum's team is not as good as Kawhi's.
So, like you said, no standout, no big 50, 60-point games from Kawhi, but consistently doing the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
But Tatum doing the same with the big games.
Yeah,
that's my whole thing. And then another thing, Tatum, the glue guy to like Boston, is out this year. Marcus Smart. He's like one of their core guys.
Yeah, but like
he went out with an ACL injury.
I'm not saying that Marcus Smart is the reason they're winning or losing. I think that like the Kemba Walker thing and the fact that Kemba was not able to be what many in Boston expected him to be this year.
Yeah, like I said,
he's not been that 20-point. I don't think he hit 20 points per game this year. I'm going to check it right now. I don't think he did. I think he's had pretty subpar year for him. Because I know what you're talking about with the Marcus Smart stuff.
Because Marcus Smart is like...
Yeah, Kemba Walker, 18 points a game, 41% shooting. That's bad for him. That's pretty bad for him.
But I mean, Jalen Brown put, obviously...
And Jalen... But that's the other thing I was going to tell you, which I think is probably why I don't look at Tatum as like he's had this amazing year. Because I look at Jalen Brown and I go, he's really had the standout year on that team. Because no one saw... I expected this from Tatum. Like, I actually expected that 25 and more rebounds, personally. But I did not expect Jalen Brown to become a better scorer than he has. You know what I mean?
Well, why? But I just don't understand. And it's more, and I'm not trying to, I just want to understand the logic is, but Kawhi Leonard is doing as expectations. He's like putting up numbers that are at expectations too.
I think it comes to the fact that the Celtics had that skid though.
True. It does for me.
But I think Tatum losing a core guy matters in that sense. Like, it's just like,
I think you're overrating Marcus Smart a little bit.
Oh no, I think he definitely helps them on defense for sure.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing there, but I don't think.
And he's one of their point guards, pretty much. Like,
yeah, but I'm pretty sure they were on the skid while this guy was playing. Like, I'm pretty sure that he was. Yeah, look, like he was in a lot of these, a couple of these games. It's like 50-50 when he's out.
What, 15, 20 games? That matters.
When he's out, though, it's 50-50 in terms of wins and losses. Like, it's not like they went on this huge losing skid when he was out. They finished the end of his streak by winning 4 in a row. Like,
yeah, but that's
it wasn't like
you have to adjust. Obviously, it took a while for them to adapt, sure.
Yeah.
But then once they figured it out, then they probably started winning. But it's like, but it definitely is taken into consideration in that sense, I think, because maybe if he's there, you win 3, 4, 5 more games. You don't know. Like,
maybe.
He's one of their guard. He's literally one of the guys that runs their offense too. Like,
yeah. I mean, like I said, I have him, and I think he's had a good year. But I just don't know. To your point, I don't know how much people are going to, or the actual voters. I wonder how much the actual voters are going to take into consideration exactly what you said about Kawhi Leonard.
It's because of his name more than anything. Because I'm like, Tatum,
he's going to get it
offensively, defensively, and
he's going to get it because I don't think there are a lot of people that agree with you on the offensively and defensively thing, especially not the defensively thing. I don't think you get a lot of people to say that.
Yeah, but that's because people literally think Kawhi Leonard is who he was 2 years ago. And
yeah, but you've been on this crusade, this whole podcast, since this podcast inception.
Yeah,
that Kawhi Leonard is not as good as everyone thinks he is.
No, Kawhi Leonard is not the same defensive guy that everyone thinks he is.
You can be specific about it, but your opinion is Kawhi Leonard is not as good as everyone thinks he is.
Yeah, how many games did Kawhi play?
But
I'm saying 10 more games than him too.
I just think
average more points, more rebounds, and an assist less.
I just think
average the same amount of steals, same amount.
He was a little bit more efficient. Kawhi was a little bit more efficient. Shot 51% in comparison to Tatum's 46. Like, if we're gonna get down to that, and at the end of the day, he won more games. People are gonna look at that. If you're in the top 3 of your conference, especially this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna go. I really don't.
They did.
But you said you have Kawhi on your 3rd team, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm just. My whole thing is, I just feel like that's disrespectful to take Tatum out. Like, I feel like it's giving somebody a spot because of the name. Like, LeBron James, literally, when he was playing, he was dominating, and he needed that. His team needed that.
The Clippers have had injury issues all season. Like, Pat Beverly has been in and out all season as well. And if you're going to talk about the importance of Marcus Smart, Pat Beverly is a similar player and of similar importance for the Clippers team. So that should be taken into account for the Kawhi conversation.
How many games did Patrick Beverly miss?
I don't know. Can we look at it?
Drum roll. I got it. Oh, and they got Rondo. Can we talk about? Actually, we'll save Rondo for another time. His season this year has been underrated.
To my fuel to my fire.
Patrick Beverly.
33 games. 33. So that's less than Marcus Smart ended up playing. Marcus Smart played about 45.
45?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I definitely would agree with that then.
You know who I feel bad for? This man, Mr. Paul George, a guy who literally, I think Paul George could have averaged 30 this year, and everyone would have been like, "Fuck you, man! I'll see you in the playoffs." No one respects this guy. He shot 4. He averaged 50% from 3 for a while this year. He was shooting insanely accurate, and he had a couple of blow up games this season. But he's not on my 1st, 2nd, or 3rd team. Sorry, Paul George.
I don't even think he'd be on my 4th.
But I'm saying, like, feel bad for the guy.
I don't give a fuck about him.
Hopefully, it doesn't affect his mental health in the playoffs.
So to round out to come to a conclusion. Yeah. Oh wait. Did we talk about?
we got one more spot to do, and it's the second guard spot. So I want to hear.
Oh yeah, my guy, Russell Westbrook.
Wow.
Average. I don't give a shit about the record at that point. And plus, honestly, I want to apologize. All right. So within LeBron's legacy breakdown, I went on a whole tirade about how Russell Westbrook was a stat padder, which I'd still do think he is a stat padder.
It's in the 2018 season. It's in the 2018 season breakdown.
Honestly, he was. But
my goodness, you can't. Like, you're trying to apologize, and you're like, but he was.
Yeah, but my whole thing is there was a stat that came out that showed Russell Westbrook with all these triple doubles that he gets, his winning percentage is like I thought it was like 70% or some shit like that. It was crazy, and I'm like, you can't say he's a stat pattern if when he does the triple doubles he wins. So
every time he's in every season so far that he's averaged a triple double, his team, be it the Thunder or because I don't think he got it when he played for the Rockets, right? That was the year.
Yeah, he didn't. He played. No, but his offensive, like he was averaging like 27, 7, and 7 or something.
Yeah, and it was like all inside. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but every year that he's averaged a triple double, his team has desperately needed a guy to do everything, desperately, and it's crazy because he in the beginning of this year played like shit. Wasn't near these numbers really that much at all. Like under 20 points.
He got COVID again, didn't he?
So he was injured, according to him, and something COVID related. That too. Yeah. And once he started feeling healthy, the Wizards went on this fucking roll.
Yeah. And they went. Yeah, they had like a 9 or 10 game win streak, some shit like that during the year,
he's a beast, and he's gonna get his 4th triple double in 5 seasons. And
it's cool. That's it. Like they said, he could literally average 0, 0, and 0 for the rest of the season, and he would get his triple double.
What a savage, man!
Yeah, averaging 22, 11, and 11. Like you gotta
what a savage. He's my 3rd team point guard. He's my 3rd team point guard.
Same here.
Okay.
I love. For me, I have James Harden as my 2nd team point guard. But I'm going to preface that with I don't know if he's going to actually end up hitting the games required. I'm not sure. But I needed to say something about this because I picked Kyrie Irving to win MVP to start this season. And the biggest reason I picked Kyrie Irving to win MVP is because I looked at what James Harden did in the same system, and I was like, this system is predicated for point guards, right? It's made for point guards. It's always produced insane point guard seasons, and it's Kyrie. He was shooting more than Durant to start the year, and he was scoring more. He averaged 50, 40, 90, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I remember that.
What I didn't expect was for them to turn around and just go get James Harden to run the offense. Yeah. I didn't see that fucking coming at all, right? He averaged the most minutes on the team, right? He was phenomenal. There was a lot of times where he was the only major net playing, right? And 25 and 10, and he looked like the new age Magic Johnson. It was unreal. It was unreal. Yeah. He really helped Brooklyn, in my opinion. He really helped Brooklyn.
My whole thing is like, and maybe it's because this is just such a weird season, but I just don't like, and I've noticed like, especially going through these teams or whatever, like I just never gave. So for me, when I usually pick, like the records don't matter to me as much until it gets tight with 2 players. Like when that's when I start nitpicking a little bit more. But to me, I'm saying when I say first team All NBA, I look at it as, and I would try to look it up online too to make sure that I'm not bugging about this.
Yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with record.
Right.
I looked it up to make sure that I'm not bugging. So I put who was best at that position to me.
Right.
But then the one thing I did consider was always how many games did they play, because that matters a ton. You can't.
It matters. Like I said before, it matters way more this year than it's mattered previously.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why, like, Russell Westbrook being all second team to like, I thought of James Harden.
Right.
Like, that was a guy that I was like, I want to put him here, but he didn't play enough games to me. Like,
I know.
And I didn't put any net player when I feel like they easily would have been, like, if they played a full season, 100%, all three of them would have been in one of these teams.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What about Donovan Mitchell? Did he play enough?
That's another guy.
He
that's another
played
guy
enough for me to give him my third team, and that was, I felt like I gave and it was between Donovan Mitchell and Harden for me, and I gave Donovan Mitchell the edge because of the record, and how and Utah became a completely different team because he was the man, and they played a ton of defense. Him and Rudy Gobert, because at first I thought Jokic and Embiid could be in the same team, and I had Gobert as my second team, all second team center.
Yeah,
because I gave him that respect for obviously I think he might be Defensive Player of the Year this year, and then he also, his team is first in the West, and then was first in the West for most of the year and is second in the West now.
Right. The reason why I ended up picking Harden, because to go along with your what you were saying about the records and stuff and the games played, I looked at record a little bit more than I looked at games played, obviously, but also, like, a lot of this came down to, because I did try my best to take record out of it, but then when I watched the games, like when I watched Harden, I was expecting to see a guy that I was not going to enjoy watching play. Like, he was, like, I thought I was going to be frustrated with him. But
the only thing that makes it a little unfair is, like, you probably watch Harden way more than you watch Donovan Mitchell.
Sometimes, but, like, if the Jazz were playing
Westbrook.
If the Jazz, no, I watch a lot of Westbrook, but I watch a lot of Wizards.
Pass, right?
Wizards, yeah, that's what I'm saying. League Pass changes the game a little bit. Yeah. Was it easier to watch Brooklyn up in New York? Sure, but when I do watch you, what are you doing? And I would pay attention to the game specifically where Durant and Kyrie couldn't play, because I figured it was going to be Harden, but they would probably lose. And they won a lot of those games. Like, that stuff surprised me. And he was so much better this year than I expected him to be for Brooklyn. Like, I knew that he would be good for them, but I thought he would play the Kyrie role for whatever reason. I just didn't expect him to be, like, I knew he had the skills, but I just didn't expect him to be so unselfish. And he really has been unselfish in Brooklyn. And
I can know that for sure.
He's the only net I have. He's the only net I have.
That was the only net I considered.
They could win the finals.
Yeah. That was the only net I considered, because obviously
I don't have James Harden. Yeah. At all.
Yeah. And that makes sense. Like, I don't have him at all either, but he's the only one that I considered, only net that I considered. And I agree. I do like that he was so versatile this year, because he literally would go game to game. He'll be like, all right, I'm going back to old James Harden, could put up 50, whatever I want. And then when he's playing with one of the other stars, he's like, all right, point guard mode. Like this, and I like that shit a lot.
Yeah, me too. I didn't expect that out of him. Not once this year did I ever see.
Yeah, I agree. I that
out of him.
Lindsay, so why did you even consider Harden?
No, I did. So, like, when I was going through, like, I wrote my initial, like, reactions, and then I edited myself, and he was one of my initial reactions. But then I ended up wanting to add Mitchell, and so I kept Chris Paul over him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the last guy we got to talk about.
Same thing I did. So to round out our All NBA second teams.
Yeah.
I have Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Jayson Tatum and Rudy Gobert. Oh well, no. Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm okay with that.
And yeah, Joel Embiid is just. I had him my first set. Like, it could be an argument between him and Gobert, but I'm just not giving it to Gobert just because he was great defensively. Like, Embiid was dominant when he played. He obviously just had injuries, and you can't you kind of can't blame Embiid because he's been injury prone throughout his whole season, and then when you put him in a shortened season,
it's only going to make that whole situation worse. I agree completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do the 13. Let's talk about Chris Paul. I think that's fine. Like, I thought that was.
I was just saying.
Mine sounds so different. Ready? I had Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi, Sabonis, and then Jokic because I'm riding hard for Embiid, obviously. So
yeah. I had Luka, LeBron, Harden, Kawhi, Embiid. But I don't mind. I didn't mind when you said yours. Like, I was fine with the Tatum.
A lot of these things, like, you're talking about some of the best players in the world. Like, you can't really get too mad.
Your second team is like my whole third team.
Mine?
Yeah.
Mine? Yeah.
But let's talk about Chris Paul for a second, because I believe he deserves to be on these teams, and he was the hardest person to place for me. Yeah. Outside of Kawhi Leonard, who was very difficult for me too.
Do you have Chris Paul on your third team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Paul's my third team.
So we all three gave it. My whole thing is Chris Paul obviously didn't play like superstar level, but it's all the other shit that he added to this team. He made a team that came in 9th place last year, and only came in 9th place because they went on a 9-game winning streak.
Yeah.
To get to the play-in tournament, or to almost get into the play-in tournament.
Yeah.
And so pretty much he brought this shit-ass team to the number 1 seed.
Number 2.
Yeah. Well, 2 either way.
I thought they were no. Yes, did they
still got it? Jazz still got it for now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Jazz are ahead as of right now.
But Chris Paul was so hard for me to rate because of exactly what you were saying, in terms of the intangibles.
Yeah,
these intangibles are absolutely the reason why they're in such a strong position, right? And I think if winning doesn't matter at all for these All-NBA teams, I don't know if Chris Paul deserves to be on here. It's 16-9.
I think that's a little bit shit, though.
No, it's not. 16-9 is a little bit shit to make the fucking All-NBA team. We got guys. I'm leaving off. We're leaving off names.
Time out. I'm not about to say 16-9 is shit, because we had a guy who went 18-11 and won 2 MVPs because of that.
And we both agree. We both agree that not one of those MVPs is deserved.
I agree, but
moving on.
It's still.
But what?
I don't know. I mean, he's like the engine, obviously, and you have to.
Right, but it just doesn't show the stat sheet.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, to me, which for the most part, most of the time it'll show up in the stat sheet, but there's certain things that don't show up in the stat sheet, which is like leadership, and that shit should be acknowledged. Like, still.
I agree. That was part of the thing that came in with me and Harden, and why I put Harden where I had him, because I just didn't see that part of it out of Harden, and I feel like he delivered as a leader and as a you know what I mean?
I mean, it's so obvious his impact, because he went from one West team to another, and OKC went from being in the playoffs to like 10th or 11th, and now Phoenix went from 9th to 2nd. Like.
Yeah, they literally flipped. Well, they went more than flip spot, and freaking OKC, like they literally had less than 5% chance of making the playoffs last year, and because just with his addition, they obviously they made. Weren't they the 6th seed?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
So like he definitely it would be for one, like the reason he didn't get any type of respect or like they didn't show him that much love last year for it. Like obviously they mentioned that it was like crazy that he did that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he even got an All-NBA team last year. But him doing it 2 straight times in a row. Yeah. That made it that makes it.
He was an all-star. He's been an all-star. He was an all-star last year also. I remember that.
Yep.
Here's what I wanted to ask you. If he's doing what he did this season, a few years back for the Clippers, 19, 10 assists, 2.5 steals, right? First team?
Yes, and he's MVP.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. That's why I think 16 and 9 is shit.
Yeah,
that's the reason.
You're talking about a third team pick, and then you're comparing that to an MVP caliber season.
But there are people who think he should be MVP. That's my point. There are absolutely human beings out there who think that he should be MVP, and I'm out on that.
I.e.
hit all the check boxes.
Right, that nigga's drunk. Yeah. I don't know why he. My man said, I'm sorry, and it's a little rant, but my man had the nerve to say the Joker would be the worst MVP besides Derrick Rose in the last 40 years.
Riding sack.
And then would say Chris Paul would be like 20th or something, like ranked 20th or something like that. And I'm like, Chris Paul is not better than Joel Embiid right now. But I think he's talking about overall career. And I'm like, Joel Embiid doesn't even, I mean, not Joel Embiid, sorry, the Joker doesn't even have a career right now. He's only been in the league for 5 years. You can't even, like, it's just stupid shit, but my bad. But there are definitely people in this world that think Chris Paul should be MVP. I personally think he should get votes, though.
Yeah, I'm okay with him getting some votes. Yeah. I understand the votes, but if he gets more votes than Giannis, I'll be shocked.
Yeah,
it's going. Watch, Dario. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Remember, I said this. I'll be shocked when it happens.
I think
it's going to happen.
More votes than Giannis.
And that to me is insane. I can't believe he's going to finish with it because that's the narrative pushing
so
up the mountain.
So we and because it's a podcast, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want. So we and you know this, like when I left my job, we would talk all the time. And one thing that I always got upset about was my job would never notice that I trained all the motherfuckers around me. Right? And I'm like, you can't then tell me whatever productivity I put up is not the same as this one person.
Right.
When literally all these other motherfuckers are putting up high quality productivity, and I'm the reason they're doing that. Yeah. Chris Paul is 100% the reason all these Phoenix players are playing at a much higher level.
Yeah,
because of his leadership. I
agree.
And you can't, and it's not even an argument because you literally the team didn't change that much from year to year. They went from
exactly what Lindsay said,
10th seed, to 2nd seed.
Yeah,
all because of Chris Paul. And you cannot tell him that he didn't his value to that team.
Devin Booker also scoring 25 points a game makes a big difference too.
Like, yeah, but Devin Booker's always been like a shooter, and he didn't win games.
Right, exactly. Like Devin Booker's literally actually declined in terms of statistics, if you want to look at it compared to last year,
right?
Or at the exact same level.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like he's getting more help, and so now his points are a little bit more meaningful. But I understand what you're saying, where he was averaging the same amount of points. I get that aspect of it.
Yeah, and throughout like a significant part of the season, Devin Booker was only averaging like 22 points a game.
I guess, but now he's averaging. I mean, he made a 3-ball, and now he's averaging 25. Like, my point is, it's crazy that because he was averaging 25 points for the last few seasons, that now that he's doing that in 2nd place, he just gets no consideration, and it's all Chris Paul and his 16 and 9. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's strictly because he's been doing that and being bottom seeds.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be very surprised if Chris Paul wins MVP, and he was really hard to rank, and that's why he got my 13.
Yeah, he shouldn't win MVP, but he should be top 3.
You might get your wish on that one for sure. Who else have we not talked about? So, my 3rd team's Westbrook, CP3, Tatum, Devin Booker, and Gobert. That's my 3rd team.
I have Westbrook.
So Westbrook. I'm sorry, I missed your 2nd guard.
I have Westbrook, and then CP3 is my 2nd guard.
Oh, okay.
With Tatum, Booker, Gobert. I put Booker as the small forward.
Yeah. I had. Oh, who did you have? Lindsay?
I have Westbrook, Dame, Tatum, LeBron, and Gobert.
Damn, Dame hit one all the way to 3rd team. You're a savage, Lindsay.
Yeah, you're a savage. Who was your 2nd team guards again? I didn't even notice that you did that to Dame.
You guys are so slow. Chris Paul and Donovan Mitchell.
Lindsay values winning.
Hell yeah, I do. Isn't that the fucking point?
I'm not mad at that. So
I'm so
what was your all-around second team? You had Westbrook. Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell. Who else?
Kawhi, Sabonis, and Jokic. And then my third is Westbrook, Dame, Tatum, LeBron, and Gobert.
Okay. I have Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard, Jalen Brown, and Bam. Oh no, not Bam. Rudy Gobert. Literally the only reason I had Bam there was because I was like, yo, who the fuck is my third center? I didn't realize I had two centers in the freaking number one and first.
What's Bam averaging this year?
19, 9, and I have it written down. 19, 9, and 5.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
But what do you call it?
He ascended this year compared to the year before.
That's true.
Jalen Brown definitely stepped it up. We kind of talked about him already, but him averaging pretty much superstar numbers, 25. It was 4 and 4 instead of 5 and 5, but he's averaging 25, 6 and 4. So to me, that's superstar number, and it definitely was needed for his team to stay relevant. And I definitely think he deserves some type of recognition there.
Yeah, I'm regretting putting Devin Booker on there now as I'm reading it back. And as we just kind of talked about him, because now I'm even looking at it from this perspective. Who would you rather have, Donovan Mitchell or Devin Booker?
Donovan Mitchell.
Team. Yeah,
they're both the same exact age, and they're putting up very, very similar numbers.
Yeah,
very similar, frighteningly, actually.
It's like identical.
Yeah, Don's shooting a little bit more threes.
Yeah,
but that's it. They're
Donovan Mitchell's freaking field goal percentage though is like, what the fuck?
Ass soup.
Yeah. Hey, but I really do feel like Booker. Like, can you look at Booker's percentage? Like, I know we just looked at it, but can we look at his career again?
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how efficient he shot in his other couple of seasons.
Same kind of deal. Almost the exact same percentage last year.
Yeah.
But 43, 46, and then these 2 years were a little better.
Yeah.
But I think I would rather have the Don than the Book.
Yeah. My main thing is the reason I'd pick Donovan Mitchell right now is because he's been playoff proven. Obviously, he's had crazy ass playoff games. We have never seen Devin Booker in a playoff series.
That's got nothing to do with the team, though. That should have nothing to do with this first team.
No, yeah. I thought you meant just.
You're saying in general? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like that has nothing to do with.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean?
I was just more so picking between the players. Like that's why.
That I agree with completely. I just feel like what I've heard throughout Devin Booker's career that I would just love to see in a playoff setting. Apparently, he talks wild shit, like during games and to his opponents. That would be some shit to see in the playoffs because I like those type of things. That's probably why him and Chris Paul get along.
To see him play in the playoffs because the only playoff like atmosphere he's ever been in was last year's bubble. He literally had to win all 8 games to get to, and he produced.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what he's gonna do when he's in a freaking 7-game series and you have to take him out. Like,
yeah, I agree. All right, so is there anybody else that we have not talked about that we should talk about?
Gobert, we didn't. Did we talk about him much?
Well, the Stifle Tower. It's the same thing with Donovan Mitchell, but I have Rudy Gobert. He's in place to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
he's got he was more important to me than Donovan Mitchell making these All-NBA teams, in my opinion. Just because of how he's played all the games.
I don't know. I feel like it's like the dynamic duo, though. Like they're.
I'm not disagreeing that they're
really important.
I'm not. In my opinion, I'm saying Rudy Gobert is more important for their success, which is a tough. Like if someone were to tell me Mitchell, I would be like, yeah, he scores more points, but I think Gobert is like.
Yeah, based off of Utah's like nucleus and identity.
Yeah,
they really focus on defense.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
And I think they obviously need. The whole thing is like, and I agree. This is where I agree with Lindsay. Like Mitchell is very needed, especially in a playoff atmosphere, because they need offense from somewhere, and he's always been that guy. So like, that's where he looks so much more valuable, because they always get the defense because it's just the way that they're set up, but which is partially set up because of Rudy Gobert being obviously a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year.
Yeah.
But Donovan Mitchell is always needed in the playoffs, 100%.
When it comes to the playoffs and Gobert, the question will always be the same. Will he be able to play when the opposing team stretches the floor?
Yeah.
And we don't know yet. The regular season and the playoffs has proven to be two different things when it comes to that department and what centers can get away with. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. But that is going to do it for the All-NBA teams.
Yeah, let us know if we bugging down in the comments.
For real. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show.